Almost 2 years ago, I bought this red EFXR6 behind me. I dug it out of the field. It was there sitting left to rot. I got it back on the road. No way, no way. And then I took it off the road and it's been sitting basically like this for the past, I'd say, year and a half. If you're not familiar with this car, I'll give you a brief rundown. It's a 95 EFXR6. I put an AU subframe in it. It's got an AU motor in it. It's also got an STF high mount manifold, a Max Peating Rods 3582. This car has been such a massive work in progress over the past couple of years, and the guilt has really started to catch up to me about abandoning this car, so it's time to get back to work. First task was to finalize the hot side of the motor by first taking off the turbo, then the wastegate, followed by the manifold. It was then time to chuck in the new exhaust manifold studs that I bought, put some copper grease on them to make sure they didn't seize inside the head. Then it was finally time to chuck the rest of the parts on. Alright, I've just dug out the exhaust manifold gasket from the back of the car because that's where all the parts are. This one is an MLS one, which is off an AU, multi-layer steel gasket, as you can see here. Slide this on. Gasket's on, so it's time to get this high mount manifold back on. Yep, smack the fresh paint. Alright, put the nuts on, and that's it. That's the last time that'll be coming off, hopefully. Unless the engine blows up, which is highly likely. It's the next day, I've just gone back from work, and I want to show you guys a little bit of progress that I made yesterday. Now, we can start putting the rest of the exhaust on, which is the exciting part. As you can see here, the manifold is totally bolted on, all the studs are in, the gasket's on. I managed to get these studs from work, so they're just some M10 by 1.5 studs, exactly the same as a Barra, but it's better because it's an Intec. Also got the 5-bolt to V-band adapter on. I took out all the studs and replaced them with these bolts that this Aeroflow adapter came with. But now what I'm going to do is bolt this exhaust on that was made probably 6 months ago by my good mate Luca from Tassie. Very nice, very custom, very good. So now that the hot side was fully finalized, I was then able to put on the 3-inch dump, which had a V-band flange on the front and a regular 2-bolt flange on the back. In hindsight, I kind of regretted using 2-bolt flanges instead of V-bands because it would have made the rest of the exhaust install a lot easier, which you'll see in just a sec. So lucky Luca made this exhaust very serviceable. So we got this mid-pipe section. We got a flexi that's definitely going to blow out because I didn't get a turbo one. We got a cat, yes, a cat, believe it or not, because this thing is still also, believe it or not, street registered. Yes, it has number plates. Yes, I've been paying rego on it for 2 years, and yes, it hasn't moved the whole time. But anyway, 3-inch the whole way to one muffler and then straight out the back. So hopefully we should get some of those high mount Intec sounds. So in the last clip, you would have seen me battling it out with the exhaust, but it's all on now. The dump is on. I've even put the screamer pipe and everything on, so that just sticks out very conveniently past the rack. Luca did a very good job on that. The rest of the exhaust is also on. I'll show you guys the tip because that's my favorite part about the whole exhaust. Check that out. Twin 3-inch custom pie cut tips. I made a post on Instagram a while ago about it, and I had so many people messaging me, asking me where I got them from, and obviously they didn't watch the video. They're completely custom. But anyway, we're moving on. The hot side is basically done. The only thing I have to finalize are the lines. So I'm gonna have to go on the Max Peating Rods website and find a fitting for this. But now, Ollie is over, and he is doing the long-awaited wiring.
I got halfway done, and then I realized I read out the pin out wrong. So then I'm starting all over again. Now we've got a nice charred ECU connector here.
This is a connector off a factory EF/EL ECU, and Ollie is just basically putting the right pins on to match up with the Haltech. So it is essentially a patch loom. So we're utilizing the factory engine wiring harness, just changing some of the plugs on the connectors. So Ollie put a Deutsch plug on the cam sensor. I think he's going to do the same on the crank potentially. But what I'm doing for the wiring side is running the 0 gauge wire to the back of the car. So what it is, this is it, this big boy. I'm running it from the front of the car. Ollie has connected it here and it's running through the car, past the Eva, through here and into the boot, which has so much shit in it. I figured in order to run that 0 gauge cable, it was probably smart to remove the whole interior, run it under the carpet so you wouldn't even know it was there. What is this? Why is it on both sides? All right, let's see where this goes. So there's another plug that goes here. I don't know what that's for. This goes to the front of the car, so that's going to be fun to dig out. That's a job. That's a future Nathan problem right there. I'm going to run the 0 gauge under the carpet because it's so big. I don't think the trims are going to fit for the kick panels. Just run it under the back seats. But when this car gets a cage, it won't have back seats anymore. Probably, but then again, future problem, doesn't matter. All right, just finished running the 0 gauge from the front of the car to the back. So if you're wondering how I did this, so there's a little hole, there's a grommet that goes inside the car here. So we just popped a hole through there. That goes through the car right next to the accelerator pedal. Grommet goes straight through. Then I just took the driver's seat out for ease of access. Runs along here, under the floor. So there's gonna be a little bit of a hump, but that's okay. And straight out the back. And this just clips in like factory as well. And you'll never know. All right, it's yet another day. Ollie is doing some wiring. Well, more wiring. What are you doing now?
I'm doing the coil loom to go through to the ECU.
They are the sense wires, I guess, the signal wires. Ignition signal wires. So they're going to the Haltech, obviously, which is going to sit in here. He's already ran the patch loom in here, as you can see. Very nice, labeled everything, very professional. A few videos back, you would have seen Ollie and I making the LS coil bracket, which sits under the ED plenum, which I'm very happy about. So it sits right in there. You can sort of see it through there, peeking through. We're going to be running individual coils rather than the AU's factory single ignition coil with the 6 outputs on it, which is going to allow for better ignition timing control and anti-lag, of course. Whilst Ollie is doing that, I've loosely mounted the battery. Obviously there's no battery tray yet, but before I put the battery tray in, I'm going to put all the lugs on the wires and stuff for the negative and obviously positive. I've never done this before, but Ollie just said to do it, so I'm going to try. I need to get this thing on the end of this, and after that's done, we'll have basically full power to the car. Since I didn't have a proper lug crimper, I had to use what I had laying around in the garage, so I got some vice grips, crimped it on as hard as I could, and then I filled the lug full of solder to make sure that it wouldn't come apart. Alright, we've got the battery loosely connected. Don't worry about the red cable, that's still ground. That's power. So you just have to be extra attentive when you're putting these on, just in case, you know, you flip them the wrong way and you just blow everything up. Yeah, we're going to try power it on now, see if the ECU has power, see if the dash has power. Yeah, I'm pretty nervous, but I mean, nothing could go wrong. It either works or it doesn't work. So we're yet to find out. So just to give you guys an idea of how long it's been since this car had power, Ollie took this photo on his old phone a year ago, looking at all the fuses and stuff, because he's putting them all back now. 1st of December 2023.
Yeah man, it'll be done soon.
If it's not done by the end of the year, I'm jumping off the Westgate. More fuse. And if you're confused as to why the fuse boxes are here, it's because we're tucking them right there. Everything is connected up there. So if everything goes to plan, we should see some light on the dash. Oh, no way. Look, it's flashing.
Smart lock?
Yep. Smart lock's flashing, even though...
Dude, we can't start our smart lock's fucking flashing.
Oh no, we're gonna have to bash the dash again. Alright, let's see. No way. We got power!
I'm gonna switch her off. I wanna see if the Haltech works.
Alright, so now that we have power, we're not going to stop here. The engine has no oil, right? And none of the lines are connected, and we don't have coolant or anything like that. So obviously, there's no oil or coolant or anything in the engine, but since we have power, we want to at least bump the starter, right? Because we need a bit more motivation, a bit of mid-build motivation, as Jimmy Oaks says. So it's a real thing. Now I'm feeling pumped. I'm motivated. I'm happy. Ollie's very happy. Aren't you, Ollie?
I want a screwdriver.
Screwdriver, okay. We're gonna see if we can bump it, all right? Wait, is it in gear? That's actually a good point, Nathan. Good job. All right, that's neutral. You're kidding. Yes! Yes! Yes, yes, yes.
Wow.
Very good. Now I've got to film that for the boys. I've just switched to my phone because my camera died. Now I'm going to chuck in the fuel injectors. I just got some fuel injector adapters. Got the fuel injectors right here. I believe they're 1150 cc's, so more than enough for the power goals that I'm looking for. Over here we got Ollie welding up the fuel hanger, of course for the bulkhead fittings. So we just deleted the factory wiring and we're going to obviously drill holes for the bulkheads, which I'll show you in the next video. I just want to at least get the fuel injectors in because that means the fuel system on the engine side is completely done. And I'm sick of looking at those open ports on the intake manifold. So right here are the adapters that you'll need if you have 3/4 length. So after you put a little bit of silicone spray on it, it should look something like this. So the adapters I got actually go on the fuel rail side, not on the engine side. I already had adapters on this side for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, but this is the size that fits a Falcon essentially. So literally just slots in. Once I have all 6 in, fuel rail can go on, bolt it down. This beautiful Raceworks fuel rail. It should be all good.